Save your pity for the weak!
Hello, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the dark history of witchcraft and churches in medieval era. Blood sacrifice is not new. Kidnapped children and parties, orgies, sodomy through sex ritual, practice on boys from age 6 to 12 in religious temple has been happening for centuries. My friends, there is nothing new under the sun, and history can only repeat itself. Why? Because life is a learning experience. As human can only repeat the same mistake. Those can follow us from generation to generation until the curse is broken. There are still things that were not accepted in our society back in medieval time. In 747 in England, the death penalty was introduced for killing by magic. Love potion was forbidden along with astrology, and fortune tellers was seen as witchcraft. You could be burned and staked for doing such a practice. Therefore, those practices are totally fine in today's society. What about occults of sex trafficking or human sacrifice? Well, those practices were forbidden back in the days and still are today, and they were still practiced in the dark back in the day, and is still practiced in today's society in the dark though. Heretical sect. There had been heresy in Christian churches as well, almost from the beginning. No wonder why Jesus himself had a tantrum and threw things around as soon as he walked into a religious temple. He never prayed or put his feet into a Catholic church to pray to God, did he? By the 12th century, the doctrine of churches was pretty settled, but the church itself was a mess. Services were conducted in Latin, which few of the congregation could understand the meaning of it. Most people were illiterate and could not read the Bible for themselves, but they could see the church was corrupt. But of course could not speak for fear of blasphemy against God, and due to that, having to go through death penalty. The clergy lived a life of luxury. Oh, surprise, surprise. What do we see in today's society? Many clergies live openly with the mistresses as ecclesiastical. None were also having of the church. How interesting. In 1176, a wealthy French merchant called Peter Waldo started his own cult, which aimed to clean things up. He was given a dispensation to preach by the Pope. He needed to be provided a license by his local bishop in order to start his cult church. However, the Bishop of Lyon was a target that Waldo wanted to denounce. His license was refused in 1184, but that did not stop him. Waldo and his follower became later evangelic, and they went on the road to preach to a lot of people. Over the years, the cult's view became more radical. They rejected the concept of purgatory, invocation, and transcendental, which means the belief in which the process by the bread and the wine, when we say the body and the blood of Jesus Christ, drink this wine is my blood, and eat this bread is my body. They only celebrated baptism, marriage, and Eucharist once a year before Easter. They translated the Bible into French from Latin later on. The Pope Innocent III formed the Pole Catholic, which imitated the Waldensian Church. Probably illiterate, therefore it did not work. The Waldensians were far more powerful and popular. The church then resorted to prosecute the Waldensians, and a lot of them were imprisoned and burned at stake. Some of them survived and moved to the Alps, which are the highest mountain in some part of Europe, like France, Australia, Switzerland, and Germany. Because the Waldensian, more heretical cults sprung up during the 12th century from southwest France before spreading to Italy and Spain. The cult followers were called the Cathars, which means pure ones. They believed both God and the devil, and Jesus was on the good side of the universe, but was trapped on the bad side with the body. The Cathars were against eating meat and drinking wine and anything else that brought material comfort or pleasure. They were vegetarian. They believed animals were sinful because they were produced by intercourse. The Cathars also discouraged marriage and intercourse because they did practice sodomy, apparently tolerated as it did not risk the sin of procreation. Fearing the persecution, the Cathars kept their faith secret because they knew they could not take on power of the Catholic Church. However, later the Pope's attention was drawn to the sect, so Pope sent a messenger monk to convert them, but it did not work. The Cathars had such a big influence on some part of France, southern of France, and like Toulouse. Pope Innocent again sent a messenger to Count Raymond, who controlled the Cathar region. Therefore, that messenger was assassinated, and this is when Pope decided to respond by ordering a crusade, first in Europe in 1208. The Pope denounced the Cathars to be Satanists and began a purge, sent the soldier to the town of Basia for slaughter. When soldiers asked the Pope, how could we distinguish between a Cathar and a good Catholic? He replied, kill them all. God will know his own. How barbaric. For another 50 years, some fled to the Balkans, where they continued until the 15th century, when they finally were absorbed by Islam. Next chapter, we'll be talking about nun and fornication in churches. Thank you for listening. And Unspoken Tale by Cara Brown. This is my channel. I'll be speaking the truth and reveal the dark side of life. I represent shadow. I represent darkness. So do not be afraid to subscribe and do not bite. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Save your pity for the weak. Ha 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 ha!